I say to you, he is a great governor, and Arkansas is lucky to have him. Please help me welcome Governor Mike Beebe to the stage.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you all for being here. On behalf of all our citizenry across this state, let me welcome all of our visitors from out of state. We hope that you have a great time, that you network and enjoy your time here, and that you spend a lot of money. One of those famous quotes, which frankly I don't have in my pocket and which is too long to remember verbatim, of Robert F. Kennedy, I think is appropriate here when he talked about what one man, and he meant that man or woman, could do. And he talked about the fact that lest you think that one man could change the world, that's really the only thing that ever did. And he likened it to throwing a pebble in a pond, with each person being the pebble, and the ripples that intersect can form a tidal wave that can knock down all the walls of injustice and oppression and can create opportunities for all of us. What's that got to do with you? It's how you build a nation. It's how you build a world, one neighborhood at a time. All a neighborhood is an extension of that one person attitude at a time. Whether it's two people in a neighborhood working together, or whether it's just one. Whether it's 5 or whether it's 25. In each little selfless act of all of our people, we have the opportunity to change our future and indeed to change the world. So I'm extremely proud to be here as you celebrate your awards, and I'm very gratified that you've chosen our state and this city to meet. But most importantly, I am very grateful that you all recognize that one person and one neighborhood at a time, we can change the face of our society in a positive way that can create opportunities for our children and our grandchildren, and so that you can have an impact on posterity. You are truly people who are making a difference at the very front line, ground level of what it takes to improve a society. On behalf of all Arkansans, thank you for all that you are doing. Now it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our favorite son, to introduce somebody that I actually grew up with in politics. He came back into the governor's office. I was first elected to the Senate, the state Senate. And as you can imagine, we had the opportunity to work together over the course of a long period of time, 10 years in fact, in state government. He went on to bigger and better things, so you folks from Ohio and Wisconsin and Texas and California know him. A couple of you from Florida know him. Now, people, I can't go through every state and let every one of you clap, so you're just going to... He understands the importance of each individual making a difference, and therefore each neighborhood making a difference. He understands how working together we can create a positive environment going forward. He epitomizes, if you will, the role and scope of people who volunteer and work hard to improve the lot and the lives of others. He's somebody we here in our state are so very, very proud of, and I know that you're very proud of him too. Somebody who, when he was in office, created economic opportunity and the kind of fiscal responsibility that others can only dream about, frankly. He's somebody who has been able to work across party lines and embrace people that a lot of times folks were surprised about, but who paved the way for pragmatic solutions to get the job done, much like you do in your neighborhoods, to do it one step at a time. He's our 42nd governor, and since he likes the number, he decided to be our 42nd president. Ladies and gentlemen, President William Jefferson Clinton.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'm very grateful to Governor Beebe. He was too gracious to tell you that while I had the honor of being elected governor of Arkansas 5 times and serving 12 years, I don't believe my approval rating was ever as high as his is today in this tough economy because he's done such a great job. I'm really proud of him. President Gatewood, Robert Gibbons, our Little Rock City Director is here, Joan Adcock. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to be here. I want to welcome you here, as the governor did. I hope you've had a great time in Little Rock. If you haven't had a chance to go to my library, I hope you'll get a chance to go look at it before you leave. And you're very lucky to be meeting here during one of our great neighborhood events, the Riverfest. And if you can stay up till 9:30 tonight, you can hear Earth, Wind, and Fire. So that'll be good. I know no one who goes on a convention ever stays up till 9:30. Let me just say a couple of things seriously. I want to join what Governor Beebe said. I have always tried to support strengthening neighborhoods, economically, socially, culturally. I don't believe people ought to have to move to make a living. I don't think people ought to have to move for their children to be safe playing outside. I don't think people ought to have to move for their kids to be able to go to a decent school. I don't think people ought to have to move to breathe clean air, drink safe water, and be immunized from toxic waste dumps. I think every neighborhood in America has within itself the seeds of its own regeneration. And at this, if you really look at what got America in trouble in this financial crisis, is because by abandoning regulation and by abandoning requirements that people not put up more money than they could afford to pay if they lost it, we got into basically putting everybody's monies at risk by not investing money back where it might do some good, in new businesses, in new jobs, in new neighborhood improvement projects. And so you're coming here at a good time. I'm convinced America is on the way back. And let me tell you, I know a lot of people worry about, Lord knows I have, but let me just remind you of something. People have been betting against the United States ever since George Washington took on King George. You ought to go back and see what the skeptics said about George Washington during the Revolutionary War. Well, he was a totally mediocre military officer. In an earlier war, when he was a junior officer, he lost all his battles. He's nothing more than a mediocre surveyor, and he doesn't even have a good set of false teeth. And so far, everybody that's bet against this country has lost money, because in the end, we wind up doing what we need to do to expand the reach of freedom and opportunity and deepen the bonds of our community. But whether we come out of this in better shape than we were before depends on whether we can deepen the bonds of our community. When I was president, I worked hard to give communities more power through the empowerment zones, the enterprise communities, the New Markets Initiative, which we were just talking about over at my library. I just came from dedicating a new bridge project. If you look at the old railroad bridge, it's right by my library. Within 16 months, that's going to be one of the most beautiful walking and biking bridges anywhere in the world, not just the United States. And it will unite about a 15-mile circular walking and biking trail and be lit and be full of interesting things that will help to further brand this part of our state, but mostly to strengthen the old neighborhoods on both sides of the bridge.